Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Battle Sports Mekuru, which is a digital download game from, I don't think Nintendo was the one publishing it. I could have sworn they had something to do with it, but yeah, it's made by Overfence. So we're just gonna go right into the menu. Honestly, there's not that much to see with this one. This is the Japanese version, obviously, but the nice thing is it's actually got some English in it. So if I was just to come here, you can see that some of the menus are in English, and the tutorials are in English, and basically, it's all in English. It's some pretty basic English. It's not particularly advanced, but it's alright. It does the job. We do have some settings we can change. It's all pretty obvious stuff. Contra connection is just that screen that the Switch brings up anytime that you want to go and play something, so we'll just turn that off. So like if I hit the plus button right here, you can connect your controllers, like your Joy-Cons and all that. That's what it means by contra connection. So there's actually not that much here. Half the stuff in the game's actually missing, like achievements are missing for some reason, despite the fact that this game just launched. It's also missing local area battle between two switches and rankings. So all you have is internet random battle and local battle. And I tried the internet random battle and I found one Japanese person. I played with him for about 5 minutes and then the connection became really unstable and we got disconnected. So, not the best thing in the world, but frankly this isn't the sort of game you want to be playing online anyway. You want to be playing it locally with friends. So let's go and play the local mode. Thank God there's actually AI bots in this game. So we have 3 AI bots here. There are 3 difficulty levels, and I've played with all 3 of them, and honestly, it doesn't really make a difference, so I've just left it on the middle one. We've got 3 different kinds of modes we can do, and we'll go do panel battle first before we go do another mode. You can come here to select your stage. There's a few different kinds of stages, but there's not really too much difference between them. You literally have seen all the stages and all the gimmicks of said stages, so I'm just going to pick random. The only difference between the green and the blue is the green stages are normal, the blue stages will have a wave come in that will stun everybody in a little bit. That's all the stages there are in the game so far, and it really does seem like there needs to be more stages. But anyway, away we go. This is Battle Sports Mekuru. It's a very simple game. It reminds me a lot of it reminds me of a mini game from, say, Crash Bash? Does anyone remember that minigame from Crash Bash that was Pogo Panic? Which was literally just everybody was hopping around on pogo sticks and they had to color in as many of these blocks as possible. This game follows the same sort of thing. So you press A to jump in the air, and when you come down you will do a ground pound, just like good old Mario. And once you've done that, you will color a certain section of the board under you. You can see that it spreads out from you in a sort of cross pattern. And of course the idea of the panel battle mode is to get as many of these panels as your color as possible before the time runs out. Very simple stuff, nothing too out of the ordinary. There are a couple of things they do to shake things up a bit, like you've got items that will show up around the place, and they'll all do different things. Like for example, I just picked up the pickup that makes my pattern go in a diagonal direction. However, that's not actually a very useful power-up. There are more power-ups, like there's speed up, there's ones that'll make your range of effectiveness bigger, so you'll cover more tiles in the same spot. And there is one power-up which is a massive pain in the ass, which is the invincibility power-up, which is that one in the top left there that yellow guy's probably about to get. Not only does it make you drop this huge, like, 3x3 square of stuff, it also makes you completely invincible, so it's very easy to get a knockout. The way it works is if you get caught under a rotating tile that's not yours, you will die, and when you die, you lose all the items you had at the time, so you'll be back down to normal speed and normal, normal range. And you won't be in a hexagonal pattern anymore, which is an annoying pickup to get just out of nowhere, but it happens. There are a second and third mode as well, but they're the same basic concept. So, knockout battle is infinite lives. Person who knocks out the most people in 2 minutes wins. But of course you can't change the time limit. Or life battle, which is the same concept, but everybody has a limited amount of lives and the last one alive wins. I will show you a life battle now, and then we'll go back to the panel battle, because there's really no need to show you a... There's really no need to show you a knockout battle, because it's really just the same thing. Didn't really need to show you that animation either, but I was still talking, so there we go. There is a little bit of benefit to hitting the panels in this one in comparison to the other modes, because obviously the more panels you have, you walk faster on your own panels, so the more panels you have, the faster you can get away from something. And... oh shit. And there's also, the way you find power-ups is they don't come up on the field randomly, they're under flipped panels. Even panels that have already been flipped can have more panels on, can have more pickups under them. That's just the way it works. And of course, the objective of this mode is very simple. Just take out all your opponents before they take you out. Taking out your opponents in this game is a little bit of a pain just because of, sometimes you'll get stuck in like this weird chain where the both of you will keep coming down on the same spot, and you'll just end up doing that over and over again for like a minute or so, just because the AI is a bit stupid. Even on level 3, it doesn't feel any smarter than it does on level 1, which is kind of disappointing actually. I was hoping for AI that'd feel a little bit smarter, but apparently they don't want that to happen. See, like, look at that. The AI is so silly, it's doing a weird, like, little leapfrog thing on the same spot, and it takes a few seconds for it to break out of it. It's really dumb AI. I mean, if you let it go for too long, it will get you, but it's not a particularly big danger if you pay attention to what you're doing. So you can see how long you lasted for there, and you can immediately go back to it. The game does support, I imagine, up to 4 people with the Joy-Cons and the, you know, just whatever set of controls you have on hand at the time. Which is perfectly fine. You would expect that to be the case. The problem is that the game itself is actually really dull, especially after the first game or two where you've seen all the power-ups and all that. The power-ups themselves aren't that interesting and don't really add anything to the game. You move really slowly, and even over the top of like stuff that you already own, you tend to move slower than a wet week. And it's the whole idea of crushing the panels to fill them up into your own color. Because there aren't that really that many interesting mechanics for the game to play with. Just walking around and filling as many of these panels as possible just gets really dull. And it's also a fair bit luck-based, because the person who ends up getting their hands on their invincibility power-up will get a massive advantage, and that kind of sucks, because it just feels more random. Like, even in games like the Pogo Panic game and Crash Bash, which is thoroughly better than this one despite being like 1/7 of what Crash Bash was, it still manages to be more fun because it's faster paced, it's got more interesting power-ups, and it has more interesting levels too. The level variety in this game is very low indeed. It just hasn't got that much going for it. The gimmicks aren't very interesting. You've seen one of them already, which is the giant button that flips a bunch of spaces in the middle. And it's just not that visually interesting either. I mean, look at it. I was hoping that it would be a little bit better from the trailers that I saw for this game, but it's just it's just dull to look at. It doesn't really do anything particularly impressive. Feels rather generic and uninspired is what I'm trying to say. Combine all of this with the game's slow pace and the luck factor, and it's just not as enjoyable as other games. Even like a bloody PlayStation 1 game from like 15 years ago at this point did this concept better than this game did. It's a little bit weird. It's like they never played Crash Bash. You've seen everything there is to see already. No, there's one thing you haven't seen yet, and I will play on that map right now so you can see it. It's this map. And then maybe I'll come back and I'll play on the wave map. Have I played on the wave map yet? I think I did. Wasn't the first one a wave map? I guess not. I'll go and play on the wave map next, just to be safe. It would be forgivable if there was just more to it. Like, there really isn't that much to this game. It's just... It really is just the same sort of concept over and over again, and it kind of sucks, honestly, just because... It just gets dull really fast. Like, I'm bored to tears already with it, and I barely got it an hour ago. I didn't need much more than that to know what this game was like, and it really is unfortunate. The game just needs something more to it. That's all there is to it. And it's a shame, really. It's a clever idea. Crash Bash proved that like 10 years ago. One would assume they're going to add free content to it in order to make things ever so slightly more interesting. But even then, I can't see how that would engage people for more than a few minutes at a time. It really is just quite dull. At least the game doesn't cost as much as, say, Super Bomberman R, which is almost exactly the same situation as this one, just because of the, general concept. At least Super Bomberman R had like a story mode and unlockable levels and accessories, and they have actually been patching in extra content for that game, so it's not like it's a complete wash. But this game just really doesn't have that much going for it. Alright, one more battle on a wave map, and we will call this to an end. There just needs to be more to it. And I imagine they might be adding more to it to make this worth your time in the near future. But as it is right now, it's just... You see everything there is to see in 15 minutes, and the base game itself just really isn't that exciting. There just doesn't seem to be that much strategy involved. It does seem more luck than chance, especially in the ones where you have to kill people, because of just how random the spawn for the invincibility pickup can be. There's the wave. The game is currently 1,000 something yen on the Japanese PlayStation, the Japanese eShop. And considering that they do actually have an English translation here, I don't see any reason why this wouldn't come west, since they've already put in some of the effort. I don't know when it'll come west. I'm kind of surprised it didn't come west this week if it had an English translation, but at the same time they probably wanted to avoid looking unfinished to the American masses, because poor Americans. They have to have their finished games, they have to have their... They have to have all their menu options available, they need their trophies, because apparently everyone in America is a trophy whore now. These maps are really easy to win, because as long as you got a decent amount on the outside, you just stick around the button and just use it whenever anyone gets close and you win. That's pretty much it. You've literally seen everything this game has to offer in a 15-minute video. Sure, it'd probably be more fun with friends, but at the same time, Super Bomberman R is more capable as a it's more capable as a party game than this. It has a maximum of 8 players for one. It has more arenas, it has more characters, it even has a story mode that you can do co-op through. This just has battling. And this game just doesn't really do anything that interesting. And it's quite dull just because of the underwhelming speed. So, yeah, I don't recommend Battle Sports Mekuru. I find it dull, and I would not tell you to go get it. That's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. So, I guess I'll end this video off now. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.